Virgo, this is your love and relationship reading for July. And this is a forecast for new relationships. Maybe you just started dating or your relationship is not yet firmly established. So in the recent past, you have Domestic and Page of Swords. So domestic deals with the home environment. It could be the physical home, what it feels like in the home, family situations. So trying to create a happy family situation, trying to find the perfect home, maybe entertaining at home, looking for property, redecorating. So you have Page of Swords, so some of you, maybe you're trying to find that perfect spot, or you're trying to figure out if you want to live together or where you want to live. Maybe you're trying to figure out how to create the right home atmosphere. Maybe you're trying to find things for your home. So you and your partner may be, working on creating a happy home together, or trying to find the right place to live. But others of you, there's some anger here. It could be arguments that come out of nowhere. There's a lot of arguing over trivial matters. How you speak to one another determines any given day how you respond to one another, what the outcome of your relationship is. On some days, maybe you like your partner, and on other days, maybe you don't like your partner. So there could be some disturbances within the home. Now, maybe it's tied to, if either of you have children, maybe there's a focus on the children in the home. Others of you, maybe this is about someone overstepping boundaries. Maybe you have somebody that's trying to find out what's going on in your home. They're trying to pry into your home affairs or your private matters, or vice versa. So this is either coming up with some kind of solution connected to your domestic affairs, your family connections, finding a key, a solution, or there's anger about it, some kind of disturbance related to the home situation. Now, presently, you have Dead End and Strength. So you may feel like you don't have the strength to deal with the situation. Maybe you decide you're just going to keep your mouth shut, or it's having an impact on your ego, but there's something where you're going in circles. It could be you're going over the same issues again and again. You're talking about the same things, and either of you, one of you, may not want to hear it. Maybe you feel like you're making some progress, and then all of a sudden the door gets closed in your face. Or you feel maybe there's somebody, maybe you're trying to find out where someone lives and you want to reconnect. Maybe you feel like your romance is dead end, or the prospect of romance is a dead end. But there's something that's going nowhere, and it's like going over old ground, beating your head against a brick wall. There's no apparent solution, no resolution, just going in this vicious circle over and over, doing the same things. Now, it could be that one of you has some bullying behavior, very aggressive, very domineering, and it's a dead end because you can't do anything with this person. They're just, they're hell-bent. They see what they want to see, they hear what they want to hear, and that's the way it is. Some of you, this may tie to a Leo person, or it could be their sun, their moon, their rising. If not, again, strength. It may be that one of you has some physical limitations, and so trying to find the right environment is important. Or it could be that, there are issues connected to pets between you, or children, again. So, or it could be you just feel stifled, that you can't be your most authentic, best creative self because of a situation that may be connected to the home environment. For some of you, there's a fear here. And sometimes that fear may cause you to make bad decisions. It could be a fear that you're going to be alone, or a fear that if you speak up, there's going to be some kind of recrimination, or a fear that you're not good enough, or you're not attractive enough, or you're just not enough for the relationship, for the other person. It could be that, you're tired out. You're dealing with a lot of things connected to home affairs, or trying to keep things going within the home, and it's draining your strength. You may need to step back for a minute to gain some peace so that you can be objective, so you don't lash out in any kind of frustration. You also need to do, not sell yourself short, because there's a tendency to give in and go along and not get what you deserve because you want to keep the peace. So there's either fear-based behavior or domineering, aggressive, bullying behavior, but this is about finding the right balance. And sometimes that means using gentle force or persuasion. Now, maybe you've been trying to persuade somebody or influence, but you've been meeting with a dead end. Or maybe you're trying to take a leadership role to overcome a dead end situation in your relationship. But physical strength, endurance level, strength of character, and having ego triggered, yours or the other person, is at issue. In the near future, you have this Queen of Cups and future. So it could be a water sign person that's important for the future. This could be a Cancer, a Scorpio, Pisces, Sun, Moon, or Rising. Maybe it's, trying to determine whether you want to be a mother, or it could be issues connected to being a mother, or perhaps just building a future with this Queen of Cups, making some kind of long-range plans. So you're trying to determine where this is headed. You're looking down the road, making some plans for the long range, far into the future. For some of you, maybe this is about getting on the road. So the end goal is important here. And the Queen of Cups is someone who is, in her best, a nurturing, soothing influence. She has the capability to walk into the room and quiet the storm, whatever that is. So she can create harmony, solve problems that seem to be, stuck. She can fix things, just being her best self. This is the feminine ideal. This could be your ideal person. Maybe you're looking for someone to mother your children, or to mother you in some way if necessary, or to be a wife, or you want to be those things for someone in the future. So a nurturing, caring, calming presence is important. Negatively, the Queen in her shadow is emotionally unstable. She can be manipulative. She can be an enabler, or she's a victim. Or, she's emotionally detached, or she's hypersensitive. So she could be all over the map. So you have to determine, what your relationship is looking like. But there's something tied to your future that also connects to this Queen. Now, the archetype that you'll be playing out during the month of July, it could be you or the other person. Both of you could, go back and forth, and either you're operating in the light or the shadow. You have rescuer. In the light, provides strength and support to others in crisis, acts out of love with no expectation of reward. And that's very much so the Queen of Cups at her best. And it spoke about giving strength. So maybe you're looking at some kind of future, or maybe you feel that there's a dead-end future. It ties to your domestic affairs, something that you've been going round and round about, and what is going to happen in the long term. Now, the shadow attributes of the rescuer assumes that the rescue will reciprocate, keeps the rescued one needy. And I talked about that, the Queen of Cups in her shadow, and she's manipulating, she's enabling, she wants to be needed, or she wants to keep people tied to her so that, she can provide emotional dominance over them. So rescuer is the archetype, and either it's in support without anything expected in return, or there are strings tied to this help. But what is your person thinking that you may not be aware of? I have no intention of getting involved. So it could be that somebody has reached the end of their road, that, maybe they're tired of being bullying, or they just don't have the stomach, they've reached a dead end, and because there's been some anger or disturbance, or trying to find solutions. The lesson here, I can stand tall, I can still stand tall alone. Okay, so it looks like someone is learning the lesson of self-reliance and self-worth, even if what you expect isn't reciprocated or vice versa. Somebody's learning how to, make it on their own 2 feet. The advice card is start over. And sometimes that can be a difficult thing to do. Maybe there's a tendency to want to cling on to a dead-end situation, when in fact it might be best to just start from square one. So there's something about some aspect of your life or a connection where you're going to have to, begin again from ground floor, which means that it's possible for you to build up to something bigger and better, maybe in a way more suited to who you are. Maybe you're having to begin again, start anew for whatever reason. But the advice is for you to start over. Now, the underlying energy is this karma and 10 of Wands. So there's a karmic situation running through the thread of whatever your circumstances are. It's a karmic relationship. It could be a relationship that you've had with someone over many lifetimes. You're still learning lessons, or you've just simply agreed to incarnate again in this lifetime and continue your relationship. Or it could be that there's a specific purpose for your connection, and it may not be what you thought. It's either to learn some spiritual lessons, to pay a karmic debt, or to evolve spiritually, or any number of the combination of those. But something is very karmic in nature about the circumstances in this relationship. Now, you have 10 of Wands. Perhaps you are moving. Maybe you're trying to find a house and you've been unable to figure out, where you're going to be or where you're headed. Maybe it's about work and responsibility, and whether somebody is taking on undue burdens or a greater obligation than they should be. And so it may be that you or your partner needs to delegate more, or there's so much focus on work that you really haven't had the strength to pay any attention to your relationship and to attend to what is needed in your connection. It could be that, the relationship just feels really heavy and burdensome. Every time you try to have a conversation, it's a drag. It's always about, some issue or some problem. And one thing leads to another. Or maybe you get involved in situations and they start off one way, and then before you know it, there are 10 other things connected to it, or 10 more expectations on the table than what you had anticipated. For some of you, this is about knowing when to not sweat the small stuff. It could be that, how you speak to one another, or what you think about, somebody may be at the ready right away, or there's a lot of rudeness or sarcasm between you. And it may be that someone is blowing something out of proportion. They're making mountains out of molehills. And, so it keeps a lot of turmoil. Now, again, some of you could be moving. Maybe you're having to start over. Where are you going to be in the future? What's down the road? And also there may be a lot of resistance to making change. Maybe you're getting pushback from others, or you're resistant to something, or the other person is. Some changes that would improve things and make things better. So in this situation, it appears that somebody's going to have to let something go to make space for something better.